What if I told you that the biggest lie in personal growth is this: you need motivation to change your life? That's what most of us believe. That we need to feel ready. That we need some spark, some burst of energy, some perfect morning where the stars align and we finally feel like it. But here's the truth: you're not stuck because you're lazy or broken. You're stuck because you're waiting for a feeling that rarely shows up. Motivation isn't reliable. It's not built into your biology to be there when you need it most. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, to keep things easy, predictable. So when you want to make a big move, get fit, quit a habit, start something new, your brain freaks out. That voice in your head, the one saying not today, or I'm tired, or maybe later, that's not your fault. That's your survival brain doing its job. But you know what? You have a different kind of power. Mel Robbins, one of the most powerful voices in the world of self-improvement, says it best: motivation is garbage. It's never there when you need it. And David Goggins, a man who redefined mental toughness, lives by this rule: you don't need to feel ready. You just need to act. This video is not about hype. It's not about waiting for the perfect mood or mindset. It's about taking control, about learning how to take action even when you don't feel like it. Because your life won't change when you feel better. It will change when you act differently. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn how to break the cycle of hesitation and use a few simple tools to transform your day, your routine, and your identity. This isn't theory. These are real methods used by real people, from Olympic athletes to best-selling authors to people just like you who stopped waiting and started moving. Now, before we dive in, here's a quick question for you. Backhand index pointing right, what's one thing you've been putting off just because you didn't feel like it? Drop it in the comments. There's a voice in your head that says, not today. You hear it when your alarm goes off and you hit snooze. You hear it when you say, I'll start Monday. And it shows up most when something really matters to you. This voice is not lazy. It's protective. It's your brain doing exactly what it's wired to do. Keep you safe by keeping things familiar. Change feels risky. And when something feels risky, your mind triggers hesitation. But here's the trap. Hesitation becomes the habit. And habits become identity. So you start thinking, maybe I'm not disciplined. Maybe I'm just not motivated enough. That's the lie. Mel Robbins figured this out during the darkest time of her life. Deep in debt, her marriage crumbling, and struggling to get out of bed. She didn't find motivation. She invented a tool, the 5-second rule. When she had a thought, get up, take action, do something, she'd count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just move before her mind could talk her out of it. No motivation, just motion. That simple act rewired her brain and became one of the most powerful habits in the world of personal development. And then there's David Goggins. He didn't wait for motivation to lose weight. At over 300 pounds, he forced himself to run 1 mile a day. Not because he felt like it, but because he hated the person he saw in the mirror. Every day, his brain screamed to stop. But he kept moving. Now, he's a Navy SEAL, an ultra-endurance athlete, and the author of Can't Hurt Me. And he still says, motivation is crap. Discipline is the way. Let's be real. If the world's most successful people aren't relying on motivation, why are you? In fact, science backs this up. According to Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, what truly drives success isn't talent, intelligence, or even motivation. It's persistence. It's showing up when others quit. She calls it passion and perseverance for long-term goals. And if you think your mornings define your mindset, you're right. That's why Hal Elrod, creator of the Miracle Morning, teaches that your first 10 minutes set the tone for your entire day. He built a life-changing practice of waking up early, without waiting to feel ready, and doing the hard stuff first. Still not convinced? Let's talk about people who didn't wait. A Serena Williams trained through her pregnancy, dominating the Australian Open while carrying her daughter. Not because she felt great, but because she made a decision. A Michael Phelps swam every single day for 5 years straight. Not just the days he felt good. Every day. A Kobe Bryant. He was in the gym at 4 a.m. while the rest of the team slept. When a young player once asked him why, he said, "Because while you sleep, I'm working." These are not superhumans. They're people who learn to act without waiting. And here's what they all knew. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your training. That's why Mel's countdown works. That's why Goggins' brutal morning runs work. That's why Serena, Phelps, and Kobe didn't ask their feelings for permission. They trained their minds to move before the excuses could settle in. So here's the truth no one wants to admit. You don't lack discipline. You lack a trigger. You need a moment that breaks the hesitation pattern. That's what Mel discovered. That's what Goggins lives. And that's what you can start today, with something as small as getting out of bed on the first alarm, walking for 10 minutes, or writing one line in your journal. You're not lazy. You're human. Your brain resists discomfort, but your future demands it. The voice that says, "Not today," you can silence it. Not with motivation, but with action. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Most people believe change happens in a big moment, a breakthrough, a wake-up call, a life-altering decision. But here's the truth, transformation doesn't happen in big moments. It happens in small ones, over and over again. The way you brush your teeth, the way you reach for your phone in the morning, the way you choose a snack when you're tired. These aren't minor habits. These are training grounds for your mind. When you take micro-actions, small, consistent steps, you start to rewire your brain. You build trust in yourself. You stop waiting to feel like it and just begin. That's how new identities are formed. Mel Robbins calls this the activation energy gap. It's the tiny space between thought and action. The moment where your brain tries to pull you back into comfort. But when you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and move, you build proof that you're in charge, not your emotions. David Goggins calls this mental callousing. He says, every time you do something hard, even when you hate it, you build a thicker layer of strength. That's why he runs when he doesn't want to. That's why he trains when it's raining. Not for the outcome, but to train the voice inside that says, I don't feel like it. Now let's bring in some other legends of discipline. Robin Sharma, author of the 5 a.m. Club, says that all change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. His ritual-based system focuses on early action. Why? Because the morning is when your brain is clearest, and also when your resistance is highest. Win that moment, and you own the day. Lewis Howes, host of the School of Greatness, teaches that micro-actions create momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence creates identity. And identity is what carries you forward, not motivation. Let's get real with some stories. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, didn't create his best-selling method from theory. He built it from recovery. After a serious baseball injury left him unable to perform, he rebuilt his body and life through simple, daily actions. Just 1% better each day. Now millions follow his model, not because it's flashy, but because it works. Marie Forleo started by making YouTube videos in her apartment and selling t-shirts from her kitchen table. She didn't have a fancy team or studio, but every day she took one step. And now she's one of the most respected entrepreneurs and authors in the world. Arnold Schwarzenegger trained in secret. His parents didn't want him lifting weights, so he'd sneak out and build his body in silence. Those quiet reps in the dark, they built the foundation of a global icon. Angela Duckworth failed her first teaching job, but she didn't quit. She got obsessed with one question: why do some people keep going when others stop? That led to her groundbreaking research on grit and her discovery that persistence beats potential every time. Tim Grover, the man who trained Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, says it plainly. Most people are interested. Champions are obsessed. What separates them isn't talent, it's repetition of boring, basic things when no one's watching. So here's what they all have in common. They didn't wait for motivation. They moved before they were ready. They built rituals, routines, and micro-actions that shaped who they became. And you can too. It starts with one choice today. Wake up 5 minutes earlier. Drink water instead of soda. Write one sentence in your notebook. These things seem small, but they're not. They are proof. Proof that you're in control. Proof that change is already happening. One action, every day. It's not glamorous. It's not viral. But it's how transformation really happens. Let's be honest. You know exactly what you need to do. You know you should stop scrolling. You know you should have that hard conversation. You should wake up earlier, move your body, eat better, finish that project, stop saying one day. But you're waiting. You're waiting to feel like it. Here's the hard truth. The feeling you're waiting for isn't coming. Not now. Not tomorrow. Not until you act first. That's not failure. That's your brain doing its job. As Mel Robbins says, your brain is wired to avoid anything that feels hard, uncertain, or uncomfortable. So it will always choose easy. That's why motivation is not the answer. It's a mood. And moods don't build legacies. David Goggins lives by a brutal truth. You're never going to feel ready. So stop waiting. He doesn't train because he loves it. He trains because he made a promise to himself to never go back to who he was. That's what action does. It proves to your brain that you're not who you used to be. And the more you act, the more you build a new identity. Not through feelings, but through evidence. Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL, says, discipline equals freedom. What he means is this. When you stop letting your emotions run the show, you gain power. You become dangerous in the best way. Because no one can stop someone who moves forward no matter how they feel. Lisa Nichols puts it like this. I didn't wait until I believed in myself to act like I was worthy. She was a single mom living on public assistance with $12 to her name. She didn't wait for confidence. She acted with courage. That's when her beliefs started to catch up. Faith isn't a feeling. It's action without guarantees. Just ask Nick Vujicic. He was born without arms or legs. He faced bullying, depression, and suicidal thoughts before the age of 10. But today, he speaks to millions, swims, skydives, and builds schools for children with disabilities. Do you think he felt like it when he first stood on a stage? Or look at Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from her first reporting job, told she was unfit for TV. She had every reason to quit. But she trusted something deeper, what she called her intuitive whisper. She took action before the world gave her permission. Years later, she followed that same whisper to build a school for girls in South Africa. Not because it was easy, but because it was right. She didn't wait to feel ready. She acted with purpose. And the world followed. And then there's Terry Fox. Diagnosed with cancer at 18, he lost a leg. But instead of giving up, he decided to run across Canada to raise awareness and money for cancer research. On one leg, through rain, snow, and pain. Not because he felt good, but because his cause was bigger than his comfort. These people didn't wait for the right moment. They created the moment through action. You can too. The difference between being stuck and being unstoppable is this. Do you act based on how you feel, or based on who you want to become? Because the more you act like the person you want to be, the more you believe it. And the more you believe it, the more you do it again. That's how you rewire your identity. That's how you stop being a prisoner of your emotions. The emotion will pass. The doubt will fade. But the action, that leaves a mark. So next time you don't feel ready, say this to yourself. I don't need to feel like it. I just need to begin. You don't need confidence. You don't need clarity. You don't need motivation. You need one thing. Movement. You've heard it your whole life. Just wait until you feel ready. But now, you know the truth. Readiness is a myth. You've learned that motivation is unpredictable. That your brain is designed to protect you from discomfort. That hesitation is natural, but it doesn't have to define you. Mel Robbins taught us that 5 seconds is enough to break the cycle. David Goggins showed us that the voice in your head isn't a reason to stop, it's a signal to push harder. From Serena to Phelps, from Arnold to Angela, from Oprah to Terry Fox, the pattern is clear. Greatness never waits. Greatness moves. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need more books, more podcasts, or more time. You need a moment. Just one moment of courage. To move, to rise, to take the first step, even if it's tiny. You see, personal development isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you were before fear took over. It's about building a new identity, one micro-action at a time. It's about looking at the version of yourself you're proud of and choosing to act like them before you believe you deserve to. That's where the magic happens. Your brain will resist. Your emotions will whisper lies. But your action, that's where freedom lives. So today, don't wait for the right mood. Don't scroll for another secret. Stand up, breathe deep, count down, and move. Because the next version of you isn't waiting for motivation. They're waiting for you to show up. If this message lit something inside you, drop a comment. Tell us, what's one thing you're doing today, not tomorrow? And if you believe more people need to stop waiting and start moving, share this message. Hit that like button. And if this inspired you, subscribe to the channel, not because we're perfect, but because we're in this with you. Let's move forward. Together.
Hey, incredible growth seekers. Wow, what a journey. If this video resonated, subscribe now for more life-changing content. Join our community of self-improvers. Smash that like button to fuel more content on mindfulness, goal setting, and emotional intelligence. Share this video to create a ripple of positive change. Comment below about your growth journey. Your insights shape our content. Next week, boosting self-confidence and overcoming limiting beliefs. Don't miss it. Every interaction brings us closer to a world of empowered individuals. Let's make personal development global. Stay inspired, keep growing. Your best self awaits. Let's unlock it together.